Good morning, everyone. So, we have finished up the subject health education and community pharmacy. Now, three topics are remaining in pharmacognosy subject. One is from general pharmacognosy, adulteration and drug evaluation, and two are the pharmacological groups that we will cover later on. Today, we will see the topic drug adulteration and evaluation. Now, in this, the important question is asked on the different methods. What are the different methods which are used for adulteration? Isn't it? First, we must know the meaning of adulteration. We will see few important definitions, isn't it? Now, adulteration simply we can say milawat, besar, isn't it? And this is carried out in each and every substance, maybe vegetables, maybe pulses, maybe eatables, isn't it? Fruits, dry fruits, everything. And this is also possible in case of crude drugs also, isn't it? Milawat. Now, one of the definition is that adulteration is a practice of substituting original crude drug partially or completely, isn't it, with other similar looking substance, isn't it? But the latter, that is the substance which is used for mixing, that is either free from active chemical constituents or it is inferior in quality. Also, it may not have the important therapeutic uses also, isn't it? So, this is one definition. Again, I repeat that it is a practice of substituting original crude drug either partially or completely with other similar looking substance, isn't it? And this similar looking substance is a, you can say, adulterant, isn't it? We will see what is adulterant also, isn't it? And that similar looking substance is inferior in quality. It is not a genuine drug, isn't it? And it is also less therapeutically effective. The other simple definition which is given in textbook also, you can go through the textbook while listening this video, isn't it? So we can say adulteration is a debasement of an article. It is a simple meaning. Debasement of article. Article means any substance. Here we mean drug, crude drug, isn't it? Which is obtained from natural source. Now this is debasement. Debasement means what? A base, we mean that a strong foundation is there to any original thing. It may be any substance, isn't it, or any other case, isn't it? Strong foundation. But when the quality is compromised, isn't it? And when the substance is not original, when it is duplicate, that means definitely the base is affected, and we say that it is a debasement of an article. Now, other definition we can say that adulteration is defined as admixture or substitution of original or genuine article with inferior, defective, or otherwise useless or harmful substance, isn't it? So, whatever the other drug is used, isn't it? So that may be inferior, it may be faulty, it may be less useful. Also, there are chances it may be harmful, also, isn't it? Now, there are the certain conditions in which this adulteration is carried out, isn't it? In many cases, inferiority, isn't it? So, when inferior quality is there of the drug, so when it is to be sold, it will be sold by mixing in original or a genuine drug, isn't it? Now, when there is a spoilage or deterioration of the drug, isn't it? So, deterioration means when the quality is becoming down, or spoilage we mean when there is a attack of microorganisms, isn't it? So, that is again mixed with the genuine drug, isn't it? Also, another condition is admixture, isn't it? Now, admixture means the addition of one article to the another, isn't it? So this one article may be any waste material which is accumulated from the market, isn't it? That can be mixed with the original drug, isn't it? So this there are these are some of the important conditions, isn't it, where the adulteration is done, isn't it? There may be substitution also. So substitution occurs when the different article is sold in place of genuine drug, isn't it? So substitute in sports also you must be knowing, isn't it? Like in, say for example, cricket. So whenever the player gets injured, so other substitute comes on the ground, isn't it? That means what? Totally the replacement is there, isn't it? So substitution means entirely different article is sold in place of one required. Now, adulterant, you must know that adulterant must be some material which is both cheap and available in large amount, isn't it? So, adulterant or the substance which is to be mixed with the uh, original drug, genuine drug. So that definitely will be very cheap and it will be less in quality, and also it is available in large amount. Now, also you must know that what are the types of adulteration. One is a deliberate one, that is intentional, isn't it? Purposely it is done, isn't it? So the reasons also we will see. One is deliberate, intentional type of adulteration, and another is accidental, which may be by mistake. Now, these are some of the important reasons you must know that why adulteration is carried out in each and every case. In our country, you will find we are discussing about the crude drugs, isn't it? No doubt. But this adulteration you will find in vegetables, in pulses, kirana shop, isn't it? Each and everything, isn't it? Maybe eatable or maybe any other article, isn't it? In each and every case. In building material also you will find adulteration, isn't it? In cloth market you will find adulteration, isn't it? In general store it will find you will find adulteration, isn't it? So the reasons are that one is shortage or scarcity of the drug, of the original drug. So when we don't get original drug, isn't it, or a original variety, so one has to use the substitute in place of genuine drug. So one is shortage, other is high price of the drug in market, isn't it? So definitely whatever the original drug is there, or whatever the original article is there, isn't it? That has got high price in the market, isn't it? Because of its quality, isn't it? And because of its less quantity, isn't it? Whatever the original things are there, they are available in less amount, isn't it? They are not available in bulk, isn't it? And therefore, being they are first quality drugs, first quality substances, so they have got high price in the market, isn't it? For example, clove, cinnamon, cardamom, these drugs we have discussed in carminatives, isn't it? So these in market you may find, you can inquire that they have got comparatively high price, isn't it? Then other reason is it is very common with contraband drugs. So the drugs which are prohibited, which are banned, isn't it? In that case also you will find that the adulteration is there, isn't it? And also the price is also high. For example, opium drug we will discuss later on after finishing up this topic. So afim means afim, that is opium, or afu, isn't it? It is a narcotic drug, isn't it? And our government authorities have ban on cultivation and collection and possession of these type of drugs, isn't it? For their cultivation, collection and possession, the permission is required from the government. These are important reasons for adulteration. We will see now the different methods of adulteration, isn't it? Now, first, I will let you know near about seven methods, isn't it? And one by one, then we will discuss in detail with important examples. Now, the different methods of drug adulteration, one is substitution with inferior drug, isn't it? Inferior or substandard, we can say, isn't it? Then other is adulteration by artificially manufactured substitutes, isn't it? Then substitution by exhausted drug. We will try to understand each and every method, isn't it, with the help of examples. Then adulteration by addition of worthless heavy materials, isn't it? Now here we will see in later on in this type, isn't it? Then addition of synthetic principles. So although we know that we are dealing with the naturally occurring drugs, but in that also the synthetic agents are used, isn't it? And the original drug is adulterated. Then usage of vegetative matter which is accumulated from the same plant. Although these vegetative other parts of the plant do not have the importance or effect, therapeutic effect, but still they are incorporated along with the original drug. And the last one is adulteration of powders. So one by one we will see now. One is substitution by exhausted drug. Now exhausted drug means what? Exhausted means whatever these naturally occurring drugs are there, so their active principles they are removed, isn't it? They are extracted, and then the drug again it is used as a adulterant, isn't it? Now, this is observed in case of drugs which are very expensive, isn't it? For example, clove, isn't it? So you can see in this slide the original drug clove, lavang, isn't it? These drugs are exhausted for their active constituents. So in clove, eugenol is present, volatile oil that is totally removed from the drug, and this exhausted variety is reused with the genuine drugs after proper treatment, isn't it? So adulteration you will find that exhausted clove in the second figure, isn't it? That is mixed with the whatever the original drug is there, isn't it? So clove is there, saffron, kesher, then tea, isn't it? So tea also there are chances that the low quality tea may be available in the market and that may be adulterated. Then fennel, ginger, they are other examples, isn't it? So exhausted saffron is also artificially colored and ginger is mixed with starch, isn't it? Then you can see in figure original variety of fennel, isn't it? And that is adulterated with the exhausted fennel. So each and every method you must be able to explain with the help of few examples, isn't it? How the substitution by exhausted variety take place, isn't it? I hope you are understanding, isn't it? While listening lecture, you refer textbook also, so that will be beneficial for you. Next method is adulteration by superficially similar but inferior natural substance, isn't it? So, superficially, the drug is similar, isn't it, in appearance. Physically, it is same, but it is inferior in quality. Now, here, the harvesting of cultivated drugs, isn't it? So, when we know that cultivation and collection of these plants are very important, and the factors are important for their proper cultivation, isn't it? So, soil, temperature, pH, everything, isn't it? And the proper time of collection is also very important. Now, harvesting when it is not reaching minimum standard of quality, isn't it? And if climatic conditions are also adverse, if they are not favorable, so we get inferior drug, isn't it? So here the common examples we will take. Again, we can take example of clove also. It happens that the quality may get affected due to whatever the conditions are there, climatic conditions, isn't it? Then the other example we can see of black pepper. So black pepper also carminative drug, Kalimiri. It is very expensive drug, isn't it? Piper nigrum, and that can be adulterated with the papaya seeds, isn't it? Okay, so the seeds of papaya, they you might have seen, isn't it? If you don't know these seeds, so you can bring home papaya, isn't it? Cut it, and black seeds you will find inside this papaya. They can be used as a adulterant for black pepper, isn't it? Then another example is of saffron, isn't it? So this saffron is adulterated with dried flowers of Carthamus tinctorius, isn't it? And original one is crocus saffron. You can see in this slide, isn't it? And this original crocus saffron is adulterated with Corcorus tinctorius, isn't it? So this is second method of adulteration, isn't it? By superficially similar but inferior drug. Next method is again here it is same, but few more examples are given, isn't it? For your understanding. And here almond, you know all of you, isn't it? Badam. So original almond, they can be adulterated by the kernels, isn't it? Of apricot kernel, isn't it? Then other example is of fresh clove, isn't it? So this fresh clove can be mixed with clove stalks, isn't it? Next method is substitution by artificially manufactured substance, isn't it? Now, this type of adulteration is observed in case of drugs which are costly, isn't it? Which are expensive, isn't it? So, there the examples we will see is beeswax, isn't it? So, you can see the slide where original beeswax is there, and that is adulterated with the paraffin wax. Now, how it is mixed? So, this paraffin wax is yellow colored, a yellow color is given to this paraffin wax, isn't it? And it is substituted for yellow beeswax, isn't it? Because yellow beeswax, original one is expensive. Similarly, other example we can take of honey, isn't it? You can see original honey which is adulterated with artificial invert sugar, isn't it? The other few more examples of artificially manufactured substances, isn't it? So the coffee seeds you can see, isn't it? So that is mixed with the other powder, isn't it? Similarly, nutmeg, zaffron, isn't it? So that is also adulterated. Then the next important method is substitution with inferior commercial varieties, isn't it? Now here I will try to make you understand that most of the plants are there, isn't it? We have seen that most of the drugs we get from two or more different plants, isn't it? So in that case also one or two may be the original variety and other varieties may be the commercial varieties which are used in the market, but they have less percentage of chemical constituents, isn't it? So they are called inferior commercial varieties, isn't it? Now here few examples we can take. One of the example, nux vomica, isn't it? Section you have performed of strictness nux vomica, isn't it? So the adulterant is Strychnus potatorum, isn't it? Other example we can take of ginger, alum, Gingiber officinalis is the original one, and the other is the licorice ginger, we can say. No, sorry, it is Japanese ginger. So Japanese ginger is a commercial variety, isn't it? Few more examples we will see in this case, isn't it? And the other example is of capsicum minimum, which is a original drug. It is substituted by capsicum annum, isn't it? Then the other many examples we can give here, because most of the drugs have got inferior commercial varieties also in the market, isn't it? Other example is of Indian senna, original drug, and the adulterant is Arabian senna, isn't it? Then the rhubarb drug we have studied in laxatives, isn't it? So there are many species of rhubarb also, isn't it? Then next method is adulteration by vegetative matter, isn't it? So the organic matter can be obtained from the same plant, isn't it? And that can be mixed with the original drug. Here, for example, senna leaves are there, isn't it? So here you will find the powder of this senna, which is mixed with original drug, isn't it? Then the other example is of cinchona bark, isn't it? So moss and other parts lichens, isn't it? Other vegetative part from the same plant that is admixed with the original drug. So this vegetative part, we can say that it has got the color same order, isn't it? And the advantage is taken of this same color and order, isn't it? And these other parts are mixed with the genuine drug. Then next is adulteration by synthetic principles, isn't it? So these synthetic chemicals also are taken and they are added to the genuine drug, isn't it? Here, lemon oil we have already studied in perfumes and flavors. So, the oil can be taken which is already exhausted, all active constituents are removed, and then the synthetic principle like citral, we know it is present in the uh, lemon oil and orange oil. So, that synthetic principle can be mixed in this oil, isn't it? The other example is of balsam of Peru, where this benzyl benzoate, isn't it, is mixed in this original drug balsam of Peru, isn't it? Then camphor oil, eucalyptus oil can be mixed in rosemary oil. So many synthetic chemicals are used and they are added in the original drug. Then the adulteration by worthless heavy material or toxic substances. So this is little bit harmful type of adulteration, we can say, isn't it? And here the whatever the other substances that are used, they are totally different and they may have adverse effect on the body, isn't it? And that may be harmful also, isn't it? So this we can say that the waste, whatever the material is there, which is collected from the market, isn't it? It is admixed with the drug, isn't it? So here you can see in this slide the original drug asafoetida, hing, isn't it? And the pieces of limestone, they are mixed in this asafoetida, isn't it? Then the licorice roots are there important, isn't it? So licorice is a original drug, Jeshtamat, we will discuss later on, isn't it? That is also mixed with the other hard type of other roots. Then the other example is of colophony, isn't it? So pieces of amber color glass they are mixed with colophony, isn't it? White oil can be mixed in coconut oil, isn't it? So this is about the worthless heavy material adulteration, isn't it? Then finally the adulteration of powders. So most of the powder drugs are also available, isn't it? And these powders also they are adulterated, isn't it? So you can see example of powder gentian, isn't it? Which is mixed with another substance. Then red chili powder, original one you can see, and that is mixed with either artificial colors or any brick powder, isn't it? So that is you can say also harmful, isn't it? So here we have covered the different methods of adulteration with important examples, isn't it? I hope you have understood the definition of adulteration and all these different methods, and proper examples are to be given, isn't it, in different methods. Okay, thank you.